Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to talk about decay, decline, and collapse as it relates to our country, the society, the culture, the economic system, all of that. We're in the process of it right now. And I had a couple of great comments on the one that I did. Was it last week sometime? It was the last one that I made that I put here on YouTube. About the collapses here. So I want to address that because I think that it bears some expanding on. First, a couple of questions people have asked me. Where do you get that mug? Well, that mug. This is our fastest best-selling mug that we've ever put out. I have the only commie idea that liberals hate crossed AKs, and of course that nice round there. You can get them on the website, and the link is down below, stonemont.us. Right down there is where you get the mugs and the books and the t-shirts and everything like that. Somebody also asked, when are you going to do your review on that bearskin hoodie that you always wear? Pretty soon. I'm almost ready to give you my opinion on it. I think it might surprise some people. I don't always wear the same thing every day, but I find that when I want to give this thing a good run, so I can give you all a good, an honest review of it. And I'll tell you, it's got some things that I like, and it's got some things that I don't like, and so I'll share all those with you pretty soon. So I got a couple of comments on the one that I did about the collapses here, and one comment from one of our very good long time viewers and members over on the Patreon channel says, well, I don't think it's so much of a collapse as a decay. And then somebody else said, who's kind of being a smart ass, says, I went back and I watched one of your videos from 3 years ago, and you said the same thing, and you guys are just trying to keep on saying the whole thing, blah blah blah. Well, both are right. So I want to address that. Now it's not right. I probably, I don't know. I might have taken his comment off because I don't like smartasses on my channel, and I don't allow them to stay. If somebody has something legitimate to say or ask, that's good. But I don't like trolls, and I don't want you good fine people to come by. I don't want you to have to wade through all that junk. We don't have that much, we don't have any on the Patreon channel. We don't have that much here, but I weed it. I don't like it. I don't like negativity and negative people, and a lot of preparedness comes down to that. I've done videos on that before, how many negative people are in the preparedness world. Well, I want to talk about, are we in a decay, a decline, or a collapse? And the thing is that it's all part of one thing. And you need to be prepared to deal with that. Have you ever seen a building that has been abandoned? That building, once its upkeep stops, it begins to decay. You see, go down in the hood. Look at all the abandoned houses down there that. When the time comes, nobody's taking care of it, and of course some of them, people are still living there and don't taking care of it, and the houses are falling apart. When you stop fixing stuff, when you stop taking care of the foundation, when you stop painting it, that house starts to decay. It's just like a tooth, and all of a sudden you're getting wood rot, and you're getting animals burrowing holes into the house, and the foundation is cracking, and the water's getting inside, and I don't have to go on and on with this, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then as that decay starts, the decline starts. and all of a sudden you got a board that's come loose here, and you got one swinging loose over there, and the back door's hanging off its hinge, and the windows are separating around, where they don't close right, and the house is hard to heat and cool, and it just starts going through a decline. And if you a decline is a slow collapse if it's not fixed in time. And there's a point at which you can't fix it anymore. It's a tear down, and that decline just keeps on coming and keeps on coming until a collapse happens. You ever seen, drive through the hood, or you can drive through the country, see an old barn or an old house. There's plenty of them out there that nobody's lived in for years, and all of a sudden you see the roof has just collapsed. Okay, it was the result of decay and then decline, and all of a sudden something gave way, and something that was supporting the roof, and bam, now you got a roof hanging down in the middle of the house of the barn. That's what happens. It's a process, and we've been in it for a long time as a country. So my point here is that it doesn't matter. It's a spectrum. As I always say, I say that preparedness is a spectrum, but so is the decay, the decline, and a collapse of anything is a spectrum. It just kind of depends, what you see as to where you are on the spectrum at the time. And you can always see the past. You can see what led up to it if you will admit it. And but you don't see what's coming. The person who is living in that house where they've allowed the decay to start, and they've allowed the decline to continue, they didn't foresee the moment that last beam would give out and that roof would collapse. But it's coming. And so this is my point when I talk about the collapses here. We're in the process of a collapse, and the collapse is a process. It's not one moment at which everything just comes to the ground. And even after a house is collapsed, or a barn or whatever, people sometimes still live in it. Animals can live in it, and if you go down to the city, and probably out in the country, I knew a couple of cases out in the country where people were living in abandoned houses. There's no utilities, there's no anything. Everything's collapsed. Rain's coming in, but people will take shelter, and people will live in them. Well, where we are on that spectrum is up to everybody to decide for themselves their own opinion. But I think we are well into it. The question, of course, is has this country, in its decay and then decline and now its ongoing collapse, have we reached the point to where it's a teardown, and or can it be fixed? And on the American Reversion channel, we talk a lot about, can it be fixed? How are we going to fix it? And there are people, still fighting the good fight, trying to turn this thing around and take America back to where it was once was and it's supposed to be. But I don't have a lot of hope on that. I think that the roof, the foundation has cracked. The foundation is crumbling. Once the foundation is gone, it's hard to keep a house standing. You all get what I mean by this, right? And then once you get too many leaks in the roof or in the walls or in the border or whatever, it's approaching the time where fixing it is no longer a viable option. And then it's a teardown. Now, where this has to go, I won't go far into that. What do we do when it's a teardown? But think about that. But what I want to say is that when it comes to preparedness, you need to be able to live during that process. You need to be able to live as well as you can during that process. And this is where preparedness is is an escalating endeavor, along with the as the system declines, the preparedness needs to incline. Okay, so that it's probably I hadn't thought about this before. It's probably like an X. As the system declines, how should I put this? Well, if it goes like this, okay, I can't do it. Your preparedness needs to incline so that as this goes down, you're going up. We talk about that. How do you do it? Well, basic preparedness taken to the far end of the spectrum, taken to the extreme. Extreme basic preparedness, and you know what that preparedness is, right? It's food, water, shelter, defense, people, things like that. That's what my series of books was on. That's what I wrote the Stonemont series about. It's a lesson in the importance of separating yourself from those external systems over which you have little or no control. The food, water, power, shelter, defense, all of these things, medical, community, all of these things. And if you don't have those in place, you're going to go down with the decay, the decline, and the collapse. And that's just the way it is. You're dependent on a system. You're going wherever that system goes. And there's another example that I could use, but I'm going to save that for another time. But if you're dependent on the system, you're going down with the system. And conversely, if you are not dependent on the system, or to the extent that you're not dependent on the system, you won't go down with the system. It's just as simple as that. And you all pretty much know the things that needs to be done. And as instead of concentrating on the latest problem, the problem of the day, the latest thing to be afraid of, the latest thing that's just horrible, the latest challenge, the economic collapse, the societal collapse, the collapse of morals and the foundational principles of our country, the open borders, the wars around the world that we're becoming involved in. You can drive yourself crazy by keeping track of all that stuff, and you should keep track of it, but you shouldn't be compulsive in immersing yourself in it. It serves no purpose, well, except a negative psychological purpose for people who like to be consumed with these things. Don't do that. Don't do that. Understand that the world is a dangerous, violent place. It's changing for the worse, not the better. And that's pretty much all you need to know. What you need to do is to concentrate on elevating yourself, making sure that you and your family and your group of friends, I don't talk about mags, I don't talk about any of that stuff, because I have a different idea about that than most people. I don't believe in mags and things. And because this is going on YouTube, I get some guy come on and say, "What do you mean you don't believe in mags? You don't know what you're talking about," without having any idea. I've explained this ad nauseum before, why I'm not a proponent of mags, but we'll get somebody come on and say, "Yeah," and that's why I put the more important stuff over on the Patreon channel, because we don't have that kind of idiots over there. Speaking of that, when I get off here, I'm going to put one up on the Patreon channel on the myth of gray man in SHTF. Now here again, I'll get people that say, instead of coming over to learn, the ones who are just here on YouTube will say, "What do you mean it's a myth? Everybody knows that gray man is the way," because they've seen a couple of videos on it, and if you have a tendency to kind of reinforce what you've already decided to believe. So if somebody thinks, the non-thinkers will go, okay, well, gray man, of course, everybody knows that it's important to be gray man. So I like to be gray man, and I believe in gray man, and so I'm going to watch things that continue to tell me how important it is to be gray man without ever questioning, exactly whether that concept really works or not. And I'm going to explain on the Patreon channel why it's not. It's just you do not want to be gray man in an SHTF situation. The link for that, by the way, is down there, down below. By the way, welcome to everyone, all the new people. We've had so many people join us now on the Patreon channel. They're seeing that you get a lot more over there. I do put up things on YouTube here. I'm going to get to where I'm just putting up a few a week, but I put up several a day over on Patreon. And if you'd like to join us over there, we'd love to have you. You'll learn a lot more. And the link is down below. It only costs you, the first level is just $1 a month. And so I hope you'll come over. You'll if you're serious about preparedness, you do want, come on over. You'll be glad you did. You'll never be sorry that you did. And if you're also serious about preparedness, the next thing that I suggest you do is read the Stonemont series. I'm missing the first one here, the reversion, because I ran out of the reversion. I had to mail out the reversion, that copy of the reversion, to somebody who had ordered a full set of them. So I still have some of the others, but don't worry, I'm waiting for the new shipment to come in. It's supposed to come in later this week, I think, something like that, or first of next week. The Stonemont series, my series of novels, 6 novels, all done in serial form. It's the story of a family who was prepared, who understood that there was a decay, a decline, and collapse of society, and who, as a result, prepared to continue to live well after the collapse. And as a result of their preparedness, they were able to continue to live well. There's a lot of people out there that don't think you can, but you can, and that's the whole purpose of preparedness. But anyway, this family at the Stonemont, they weren't able to only live well themselves. They were able to help other people as a result of their preparedness. And then as we go through the series, they rebuild community, and other communities rebuild, and the communities interact with each other, and some groups are good and some are bad. The one that's missing here is the reversion. Then you have the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, and hostages to fortune. Working on the 7th one, and I just now decided on the title for it, and not gonna tell you. You can get these through Amazon. I'll put the link down below. And if you're serious about, like I say, about preparedness, this will be the next thing you want to do. Besides, it's a great story. If you are even if you're not serious about preparedness, you'll love the story and you will learn a lot. But you can also get them from me, and that's the way that I love people to get them. Through our website, stonemont.us. That's the one I mentioned earlier about where to get the mugs. And there's a way for you to order them directly from me, and you can put in, it'll say, would you like Steve to sign the book? Yeah. And I love signing the books, and maybe even writing a little squib to you in there, and because I love the relationship with my readers, and just like I do with my viewers. So this explains to you exactly how to prepare. And the life you live in the future depends entirely on how you prepare to live it, what you do today. So that's there. I'm going to jump off here. Like I said, shoot that one for Patreon. I'll be doing the review of the bearskin here pretty soon, because I think there's some things in it that you all ought to know about it before you jump on and pay that kind of money for a sweatshirt. Remember, as I always say, that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and understand that you are living in the process of the collapse. And if you haven't started, get started preparing for it. And if you had, I'd suggest you redouble your efforts, because we are coming into a really challenging year here. And depending on what happens with this next election in the United States, things could get even worse after this one. So you all have a good day. Get out there and do something, all right? And come on over and see us on the Patreon channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.